This is Aiden Ross full stream with Andrew Tate and XQC. So I'm curious because it seems like there's a lot of high value men in here, and I want to. Well, Andrew Tate's in here. I want to see what XQC has to say. I want to see how he pushes him. All right, let's get this. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Yeah, what were you saying?
I said the top G of what?
Top G of
what? What is Tate? The top G of what? The question. What's up? He's saying the top G. The top G of what? Can we get a rundown first? An introduction?
I'm back at the right time. Hopefully I don't have any internet issues. It seems for some reason my internet's a bit slow. So
it's very interesting. Andrew Tate is invading the internet. It's so interesting because I've noticed there are a lot of people like, you know, your high value men, your Sneakos and your Young Don the Sauce Gods who are feeling very confident to express their frankly their sexist ideologies. I have nothing wrong with a man trying to be the best version of himself. I do have a problem when that idea of the best version of yourself comes with the aspect of diminishing women, right? Or diminishing anybody else, really. But people are getting very confident, and I think it's great because eventually I'll be able to have a conversation with some high-value male, and it's not going to be good for them. So you know, whatever. But
let me know if it cuts in and out.
And broke internet.
Yeah, top G of broke internet.
Mods, your predictions who's gonna win? XQC.
Well, I don't really feel, my friend, like I'm compelled to justify myself to you. If I
Let's start with introductions first. Where are you from? What country?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Oh shit.
This whole panel feels strange. I don't know.
I'm trying to pinpoint the accent.
The energy is tense.
Yeah, it's
South
kind of
African?
like I've walked into a police interview. You know, it's weird.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said to Aiden, I said, be careful when you bring him in. He might feel like he's getting ambushed.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because obviously Twitch is an online community, right? But I live in the real world. I'm not from this internet world. And in the real world, you talk to people, especially people who can destroy you, with respect. You say, "Oh, Andrew, can you please introduce yourself?" You don't come and say, "Hey, bro," like it's just an internet. It's weird.
Wait, what do you mean by?
well, so that's like kind of okay. I know what he's saying. He's saying in the real world, you'd probably think twice about how you would talk to me because I'm physically domineering. The thing is like we're not supposed to operate like that. Like you shouldn't operate under the assumption that somebody's constantly going to beat the shit out of you. Like you shouldn't be disrespectful. I would never walk up to Andrew Tate and like spit on him or do anything like disrespectful. But I wouldn't like interact with Andrew Tate in a different way that I'd interact with like anybody else on the street. Like if you decide to hit somebody because they weren't like, "Hello, Mr. Tate, how are you today? I'm a really big fan of you. I'm a really big fan of your kickboxing," and then taking that into Romania and then opening up some kind of a really weird sex farm. Like I'm not gonna like jerk you off. That's a little bit of like an egotistical rub. But okay.
Destroy, like what do you
mean like beat his ass or like
if he
mentally destroy?
Men go through life and talk to each other with respect. I think that's how men interact with each other.
I don't think he was being disrespectful. He just asked you like what he asked you something along the lines of like what makes you a high value male, something like that. It's what's in the realm of that. It's not
in my opinion, wouldn't you say that a respect between two men would be not making me be formal and you would just understand what I mean, right? You just get what I mean, right? When I say, "Yo, man, where are you from?" Like you're gonna say, "Hello, sir. Can you please tell me where you're from, sir?" Is that what you need?
No, I think that being polite and being formal is something you do.
I was being polite. I softened my voice and I said, "Hey, man, where are you from?" Try and pinpoint the accent.
Okay, well, that's not how it sounded. It said, "Hey, stop. Tell me where you're from." So
I have a deep voice, so people take it the wrong way very often.
Yeah, it's a thing. He gets people getting real mad at him for that.
Just some advice for the real world. Anyway,
I have one foot in the real world, brother.
It wasn't really good advice. Only because he wasn't being disrespectful. That's the problem. If he was being disrespectful, it would have been great advice. I'm not even kidding. But like you had Andrew Tate's a little sensitive, clearly. Okay.
Only one?
Only one. One foot in, one foot out.
I'm half British, and I am half American. That's why the accent is.
It's like South American?
No. American.
Honestly, I would have thought it was like Australian or something, like Americanized Australian, where he's like losing the accent a little bit. But that's just me.
Bro, chat chill, bro. I'm not kicking train, bro.
I was born in the United Kingdom, but I've been back and forth between the two countries my whole life.
Okay, fair enough.
So that's introduction. Andrew Tate is my name, everybody. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
I'm Felix. You call me X.
Okay, Felix.
My name's Tyler. You can call me Train.
I'm Silky. Just Silky.
Okay.
I'm also American.
Remember everything. Well, Aiden messaged me and said, "Andrew, quickly wake up. Someone disagrees with you."
Bro, I gotta say though, like, good for Aiden Ross because he's he's on the fucking nose, bro. He's always like right there. You know what I mean? He's always pulled like, not a particular fan of Andrew Tate, but like good for Aiden to be able to like network with constantly networking with like whoever is very relevant. So
a good introduction because that's it. That's how it is.
Who disagrees with me along what?
I think at least me, I think I disagree with most things, but I don't know about Trent. I don't think he knows you that much. All I saw was a couple clips of you, and I didn't want to like Wikipedia whole search. I wanted to take the arguments and the takes for what they are, and not with like where they come from or whatever. Just straight up face value. That's what you get.
You have something specific you disagree
I think
with?
that's completely fair. Like he's like, hey, I don't want to take other people's interpretation of what they're saying about you. I'd rather just ask you about your shit. I think that's incredibly like fair. I think that's incredibly charitable. I mean, I think that there are a lot of people who are probably like, you know, Andrew Tate orbiters, and they would be like, yay, stop listening to what people say. It's like, yeah, so the XQC is just saying, I would like to hear it directly from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
Beyond?
Oh yeah, most of your women takes are bad.
Yeah, but you have to be specific because the burden of proof is on you. So.
Oh no, literally most of them.
Oh yeah, but you can't say literally most of them. This is a court of law, my friend. We have a judging panel and everything. You have to come along with things that you disagree with and give your argument as to why it's not true. You can't just say
women can't drive.
Women can't drive was one of them. Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
So you don't think that men are overall better drivers than women?
No.
So when you see,
I wonder what the statistics actually say, because I always bust my wife's balls about that. Are men or women better drivers statistically? Because my understanding, because I harass my wife all the time. I make fun of her for being a bad driver with like, because I'm aware of the stereotype. But my thing is I'm pretty sure, I'm almost 100% positive, I'm not even kidding, when you have insurance, young men's insurance tends to be more expensive than young women's insurance because they're higher risk drivers. I'm pretty sure that's true. Women tend to do better than men, much better, judging by the number of deaths they cause on the road. That's deaths. That's not accidents, though. Those are two different things. But either way, if men are in more severe traffic accidents than women, that's an argument. Are men better drivers than women? Blah, 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 blah. Researchers, thousands of... Okay. Jesus. Dude, with all the ads. All right, crashes involving two female drivers were overrepresented in 5 out of 6 different crash scenarios. Variations on crossing other vehicles past, sideswiping. The percentage of accidents in which women sideswipe another female driver to her left, a whopping 52%, compared to the frequency of 15.8% in the same type of acknowledging two men drivers. Blah, 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 blah. A similarly female cross paths with an approaching vehicle driven out of the woman. She's number of accidents 50% above expected. Okay, At least one other study debunked the idea that men are better drivers than women. So apparently there seems to be some discrepancies in the data where there might be people that are trying to find that women are bad drivers. I mean, I don't really know. I feel like it seems like dude, what? There's like, what the fuck? Why there's like really nothing. I really just want like a rundown. So who's better driver, better computer? All right, so apparently, when it comes to passing driving tests, men beat women when it comes to passing their driving tests first. However, 30% of women failed as opposed to only 24% of women, which is okay. Blah 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 blah. Passing your driving test is an indicator. If you're a male, have you ever paid more? Yeah, I have. This reason is like because men make around twice as many insurance claims as women. Okay, so apparently men make more insurance claims, so that might be why male insurance is higher. Interesting. It seems like at the end of the day, what I would say is women are very clearly capable of driving because there's a lot of women drivers. It's the way that we generally operate is like, hey, listen, here's the thing. See if you're capable. If you're not, you can't do the thing, right? That's how we operate, and that's how we do it across anything. So women clearly are able to drive just fine. I don't really think the discrepancy is anywhere nearly as men are more aggressive. I would guarantee that men are just more aggressive in general. I would guarantee they're more aggressive drivers. I'm screaming on the road. My wife's rolling her eyes at me. So either way, I think again, women can clearly drive. I mean, we went into this whole investigative thing. Women drive perfectly fine. I was any statistical discrepancy is like almost irrelevant because again, people can drive. It seems like men make more claims. I don't know if women get into more accidents. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. But okay.
The worst parking you've ever seen in your life, you don't think it's more likely to be a female? It's just as equally likely to be a man.
He is crazy, bro.
I mean, when I see exactly what you just said. Yes.
Then that's your opinion. What's the argument?
like I said, it's not. It doesn't have to be an opinion, right? That's at least your anecdotal evidence, which is like kind of a bias, right?
True.
When you want to bring out things like women can't drive, you're going to go with stats, and your stats are off. You're just wrong about them.
No, everyone is firstly, when you talk about biases, absolutely everybody is biased to their own personal experiences.
Sure.
Right? If I've been in 5 car crashes and all 5 of them were driven by women by coincidence, I'm going to be biased. I'm going to believe that women.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that like you. But that's the thing is, you could say in my experience, I've had like more negative interaction with women. That's totally fine. Do your thing. But what you're saying is that women are bad drivers. That's not the same thing. You're making a generalized claim about all women. You know what I mean? So you can't do that.
And they're less capable.
Yo.
And then because fair enough.
You sit here and pretend you're not biased and you're beyond biases is bullshit. That's the first thing.
Okay.
We're all biased.
Okay, and then like a natural, good, educated human being, you're probably
Some people are less biased because they try to look at like statistics. Like everybody's gonna have a bias, but most people, there's people who try not to.
On the internet and find some study that maybe you're right about it, and then you're gonna figure out that you're wrong.
Study. Oh yeah, the internet study. Oh, why didn't I think of just following the internet study and not?
You're right.
Oh no.
Tate's experience instead.
Okay, you have to. Okay, dude, right off the bat, Andrew Tate's a conspiracy theorist. Like that's what it comes. Oh, the internet study. The reality is like most internet articles link to actual like studies that were done. You can look for good studies if you do a little bit of time and an interest in the research. If you're looking to meme women and say they're bad drivers, be my guest. Like I'd love to do it all the time. It's funny. Women are stupid. I hate women. I'm just kidding, but it's funny. But like you can't just go, oh, it's on the internet, it's wrong. No, you can't really do that. That's what's going to happen here is Andrew Tate can never be wrong based on his own logic, because everything that disagrees with him is going to be a conspiracy theory. That's basically where we're at.
Why do I ignore all my own personal experience and obey the internet study and get my 5th injection and just do everything the internet says?
Dude, Sneeko is a fucking duplicate of Andrew Tate. I'm going to disagree with Andrew Tate, but like Sneeko. That's crazy. Like Andrew Tate, the fucking get the 5th shot. Oh my lord! Why do we always go to the vaccine? I'm gonna just say it really quick. The data suggest, like the data overwhelmingly says that the vaccine does work. Now, as we have new variants, the intensity of which it may work may not be the same. It's continuously evolving. Sure. Personally, I didn't get the vaccine until the beginning of this year when my wife was mandated to get the vaccine based on her work. I would wear a mask everywhere I went, yada, 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 yada. Okay? But the data is very clear. I just had the ability to stay indoors and not go outside. But the data is pretty clear. Enough with like the conspiracy theories. It's annoying. I don't think that they should have mandated anybody to get the vaccine. I think that they should have told people that if you don't have a vaccination card, maybe you can't go into certain businesses, but you have to like wear a mask always. I would have been fine with that, right? But can we stop with this whole thing? Like somehow, like the independent, like just there's tons of research on the vaccination working. And if you don't trust these infrastructures, I don't know what to tell you. Like you might as well go live in the fucking woods. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like the government does lie sometimes, but I don't think the government wants everybody to die. Maybe they do. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's why the FDA doesn't regulate food as well as it should in America. I don't know.
My personal experience is females aren't as capable of driving as males. That's my personal experience. You can't come along and tell me that's not true. So, and I don't give a shit. Study. So
the next time we have a problem with science or some shit or physics, why go to the internet or talk to some experts? Let's go ask Tate's experience on it, and we'll have the answer to it, right? You fucking sorry, no insults. Now I got unhinged. Sorry for that.
It's fine. That's what Twitch does to people.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. That's pretty true.
Conversation would be very different in person.
Well, that part's not true for me. At least.
But that's fine. That's the internet. Well, my personal experiences dictate to me, as all of your personal experiences dictate to you, certain realities about the earth. And in my personal experience, every car crash I've been in, every time my car's been hit, the worst parking I've ever seen has always been by a female. Now, I'm not saying females are bad people. I'm saying they're better than men at other things.
Okay.
Men have, if you want to talk about internet studies, because you seem to believe internet studies for some reason, even though you can give me lies, you can give me big lies, you can give me statistics.
Don't dish Gallups. They one topic at a time.
No, studies are the biggest lies on earth. But if you want to talk about studies, it's been proven that females do not have the same kind of spatial awareness that men have. They do not have the reaction times that men have. They've not evolved.
That might be true.
This has been studied and found. You want to talk about studies?
This might be true, but I would imagine. What is spatial awareness? The problem is that, like, again, we're looking. Okay, spatial awareness is knowing where your body is in space in relation to other objects and other people. Okay, interesting. Spatial awareness, women versus men. The thing is that, like, let's see, men consistently outperform women on. Am I saying this right? Hold on. Pronunciation. I want to see.
Spatial.
Oh, it is spatial. I don't know. It's spelled differently. I didn't think that was... Okay. Including mental rotation, which is the ability to identify how a 3D object would appear if rotated in space. This doesn't seem super relevant in any, like, incredibly intense way to, like, driving. Right? So if I said, like, hey, men do outperform women when it comes to, let's say, for instance, like, reaction time. Okay, well, does that mean that you can't drive? How is reaction time measured? How much reaction time do you necessarily need? Right? You know? So, yeah.
Yet males cause more crash accidents on the road than women.
Cool. So we have
so they have less tools to you and studies. Yet they cause accidents.
Let's see. Do men cause more accidents? I want to just check this. Do men cause more car accidents? Let's see. By the way, somebody was like, oh, well, you just told us that men did better on driving tests. Yeah, so it seems like you can make the argument possibly that the reason men do better on driving tests on their first round is because maybe men pick up information a little bit faster than women. Possibly. Let's see. Who causes more car accidents? The National Highway Traffic Administration reports that men cause an average of 6.1 million accidents per year and women cause 4.4. So it sounds like males disproportionately cause more driving accidents. They also apparently get more DUIs. Okay. All right. Yeah. More men drivers. Oh, you have actual. Okay. I mean, okay. I guess that's okay. Let's see. Let's see. More male drivers. Okay, that's a good question. That's a good. Okay. Let's see. Where do they measure? I mean, I just feel like there's not going to be that many more male drivers, but maybe you're right. Reports that men cause it. Okay. I'm just trying to find out what country this is in. Let's see. Male versus women driver statistics. I wonder how many more men drive. Female motorists accounted for just over half of all licensed drivers in the United States, so which means that there are more women drivers than men drivers. Now you could say maybe they just have their licenses, but they're not the ones driving. This is like a rabbit hole. Based on the statistics, more women drive than men. There are more women drivers. Slightly. It's slightly higher. So logically speaking, you would say that since there's a disproportionately high amount of accidents caused by men, that men are the less safe drivers. The only thing I'll say for context, I feel like you can never measure this, is that in my personal experience, and again, I know this is anecdotal, right? In my personal experience, okay, I always drive when I'm with my wife. Right? So that's the whole thing. Okay, I want to be very clear. I feel like people are they don't really understand what's happening here. Okay. I'm going to do because I feel like we're getting okay. A lot of you guys I don't think are following where I'm going statistically. Okay. So let's just do this really quick here. Let's see. Women are 51% of licensed drivers. Let's just say that. And men are 49% of licensed drivers, okay? Men make up 62% of all auto accidents. Women make up, like, what is that, 38%? 38% of the remaining auto accidents, right? So men disproportionately are involved in more accidents than women. The only thing that I could say is that when I'm driving, I always drive over my wife, and I would imagine that might not be a unique experience, but I could be wrong. I don't know if you could fully statistically validate that, but at the end of the day, it's just all evidence points to men not being better drivers than women. Okay? Yeah, I drive over her. I run her over, right? Okay? So, there you go. I want to investigate all these claims. Because you could say, like, oh, well, men have better reaction time, they have better this, they have better that. Okay, but then maybe women are just, like, safer drivers. Maybe they're more defensive drivers. Maybe men are more aggressive. You know what I mean? Which is probably true. Men just tend to be more aggressive individuals in general, right?
But according to your experience, they cause more accidents, so you're right. So you are right.
More reported accidents. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I mean, like, we're delving into, like, oh, well, these ones might not be reported. Maybe, but that would mean that those accidents are statistically drastically less impactful, I imagine. Like, You know what I mean? Like we're getting it seems like we're really desperate to try to make it seem like men are better drivers.
Yes, they cause accidents, but according to your experience, they cause more accidents. So you're right. So you are right.
Correct. And we have studies that conflict. And in my personal experience,
we have studies that conflict with your personal experience.
I feel safer when a man is driving me than if a woman is driving me. That's my personal experience. If you want to sit here hoping that if you keep saying women can drive, you might get a girl, that's your decision.
Bro, I can't even say though. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, I might feel. I don't know if I. No, you know what it is? I feel more comfortable when I'm driving. I don't feel more comfortable when a man's driving. I feel more comfortable when I'm driving. You know, I will say one thing. When I worked at the bus company and I drove buses, we had okay, so I was a cleaning manager. So what we would do is like the buses would come up. There you go, a little wash bay. They would come up through here. It's like a car wash, and it was like a self-driving car wash. You'd have to come around the corner. You get fueled up over here. You'd come around the corner, and then you'd have to hook your bus into here. It was a little bit tight, not too tight, because there was like a wall here. More women would ask me to drive their bus through than men would ask me, but it was yeah. But there was a lot of like annoying older complaining men. So I don't know. I think that at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't seem like women are statistically bad. I think driving. So
my personal experiences, that's not the case. I don't know why we're going to sit here and argue about it.
Perfect. Then in that case, then what you're saying is that since you're such a smart being, if you go to the casino and there's 60% red squares and 40% black ones, right? 60-40, you should bet on the 40% black ones because that's how you're going to make money. According to your analysis of these stats, right?
I guess that would be the...
I don't truly understand the analogy.
And it's simple. It's very simple. Like I just said, according to your interpretation of the stats on the internet or whatever, right? You would bet on the 40% outcome instead of 50%.
He's talking about how men cause 60% of the accidents. That's what his whole thing is.
And you're saying this is a good bet.
Oh, bro, I know, and I mean this with respect. I know the internet is your life, right? I don't use the internet for stats when I get into a car with a bitch. I don't go and go, okay, well, she's blonde. Let me look up the blonde chicks. Can they drive? Da-da-da. I get in a car and I look at her driving and go, and this bitch can't drive.
So here's the thing, though, is like what women is Andrew interacting with? Because it seems like he likes younger women who like to be catered to. So if Andrew's personal, if his anecdotal evidence is based on women who like to be pampered by men and don't necessarily offer a lot of value outside of that, they probably wouldn't be good drivers. Yeah, Romanian. Well, don't call them hookers. It seems like he might rope them into it, but that's a conversation for another day. So, like, based on your analysis, yeah, when I get into a car with a woman who's usually like reasonably, like, quite a bit younger than I am, and their whole personality is to make money off of me because they're attractive. Yeah, it doesn't sound like those types of women would generate skills. But if you have some woman that like is working a 9 to 5 every day, she probably knows how to drive, right? She probably knows how to drive. So now we're getting into like what are the demographics of what you're referencing? It seems like you're referencing like when I reference women, I'm referencing working women. I used to do real work, but I used to like work at like like a bus company. There were plenty of women drivers. That's just the reality of the situation. So they're used to working and they're used to driving, right? So when I talk to Andrew Tate, sure, yeah.
That's what I do, right? And any man who's honest with himself has been in the car with a chick who's driving on some wild ass, crazy, texting on her phone, risking everyone's life. Every man knows I'm telling the truth.
Okay.
I know you.
I personally don't. You know, the only person I know that would do that is a guy. He would always text and work. His name was James. He was a real piece of shit. But
can't say it. Okay. You don't want to get canceled. Blah blah blah. You just sit here and say when you get in a car with a girl, you look up an internet study first. Shut up. What are you talking about?
Bro, what are you talking about? A bad driver on the road that you can see is a bad driver. I don't give a fuck if they're old, if they're missing both fucking hands, if they're guy, if they're white, they're black. I don't give a fuck. That person can't fucking drive. They can't fucking drive. I don't say, I'm gonna go to the study. I'm gonna do this to Andrew Tate. They can't fucking drive. Let me break a little bit and fucking change lane, yo. You know, I don't have a license yet.
I'm gonna interject real quick into this one-on-one here, okay? Do all of you guys remember the example I gave about real life or like the real world versus the internet world?
Yeah.
Yeah. The example I gave about the word slut. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
I think I had that take exactly on point. In the real world, like, I think when Andrew says what he's saying, right? Like, the people getting like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, right? But in the internet world, everyone's very, 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 they're very exact, right? So when Andrew says women are bad drivers,
I disagree.
The internet assumes that he's saying all women are bad drivers, women are terrible, women are fucking.
That's what he is saying.
Then,
right? So, like, I completely disagree. This whole idea that like somehow Andrew is rooted. Okay. Let's just do this. I gotta have to do is qualify this for my fucking audience, okay? All right, here's the internet sphere. We're going to solve this the internet sphere, okay? Right? Okay, cool. A lot of people are very terminally online. Let's make the sphere a little bigger. Okay, cool. Here's Andrew Tate's sphere. This is the sphere of a guy who's rich, who hangs out with women who are very, I guess, attractive. That's their really number one draw, is they are physically attractive, but they don't seem to have much else going for them. Here's the sphere of everybody else in the world. It's called the working. I put the W. Oh, the working person sphere. Okay. What the? Most people don't fucking play these dumbass games. Most people, like, a lot of people will meme like, yeah, women are dumb. It's funny, but at the end of the day, most people just don't give a fuck. This isn't like a normal like experience of like, yeah, I feel like, you know, Andrew lives in the real world. No, he doesn't. He's rich as fuck. What real world? How do you guys think that real world people are rich? What are you talking about? The real world is people going to fucking 9 to 5, like working their ass off, barely making enough money to fucking survive, wondering how they're going to get through their next paycheck, having a fucking bad day. What are you talking about? You guys, none of you live in the real world. You're rich, terminally online people. Andrew Tate isn't terminally online, but he's rich. He doesn't have a real world experience for any of this shit. Yeah, you know, I feel like when Andrew Tate's really resonating with me as a rich guy on the internet. Oh, incredible. Like, you're fucking amazing. How intelligent of a take is that? No, it's a bad take. You're fucking rich. You guys, is that Trainwrecks TV? Dude, don't you gamble constantly, like hundreds of thousands of dollars a day? Do you think that's the normal real world experience? Yeah, I go and hang out with my other buddy. Like, what are you talking about? I'm just saying. Like, stop pretending that you have any real world fucking perspective. You are terminally online. This is fucking nuts.
Right? So it just depends here. Are you talking like the real world talking, where we understand what you're saying? Like when a rapper says all these girls are hoes, right? We know.
What the hell just happened? When a rapper says all these girls are hoes, it's because the rapper is exclusively dating hoes. That's the sphere of women that he's dating. Go date a working woman. I don't know what to fucking tell you.
Oh, he's not saying all women are hoes. We know
yes,
what
he
he's
is.
talking about.
Yes, he is. You're extrapolating different evidence from that to justify what the rapper is saying. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Dude, this fucking stream is garbage.
That one chick that's sleeping with all the dudes is a hoe, right? We get that comparison. But we know he's not saying that. So the real question here is,
okay, sure, yeah.
Are you talking with the context of the real world only, where you're kind of just making that generalization, but you don't actually mean the generalization? Do you understand what I'm saying? Or are you actually a sexist? That's what the question is.
That's a very good question, and it's very professionally asked. So I like the way you've asked it.
Okay,
it's
great.
Very professional.
Thank God you jerked off Andrew Tate.
You're completely and utterly correct. The way the rapper says all women are hoes is an absolutely perfect analogy. I'm not saying there's not a female on the planet who can't drive a car. I'm not saying that. I'm saying in general, if every man was honest with himself, if you were to ask him, what's the worst driving you've ever seen? What's the most uncomfortable you've ever been in a car? What's the worst parking you've ever seen? If you were to ask him and he was honest and he wasn't on the internet worried about getting canceled or trying to be correct or looking up statistics or any dumb shit, he'd probably say, I was in the car with this chick once and she nearly killed me. That is not saying women are bad creatures. I'm not saying all women drive that way. It doesn't mean that I don't think females should have a right to drive, etc. I'm saying in general, I think that men have faster reaction times. We are more interested in cars. We enjoy driving more. We pay more attention than women do. That is my experience.
Okay, that's a fine experience. The problem is that he is saying that women are generally worse drivers than men. Like, this isn't a good point that he's making here. It's an appeal to you guys because you think you're a better driver. Again, when statistically it seems like women or men cause more motor vehicle accidents than women. I really just don't know what else to tell you. You having an anecdotal like, oh, well, I was in a car with a girl once and she scared me. Okay, I've genuinely never had that experience. I don't know what to tell you. I really just don't know what to tell you. And you keep saying things like women drive less than men. You have no statistic that can back that up. You're 13 years old and you have nothing to back that up. We looked at this shit. Women are licensed at disproportionately higher rates than men. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Men might have better reaction times. Men are also a lot more aggressive. So, like, I imagine that would have an impact on the experience. Okay, I'm sure everybody's had a bad. My worst experience was with another guy driving, and he was on his phone the whole time. Okay, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. He's not making a point. It's an appeal to like it's an emotional appeal that makes you as a man feel better, even though you're probably a young person that's never really experienced anything. That's just the reality. Show me whatever survey you would like to show me. Don't say that I looked this up and you keep saying, well, there's a statistic that show. So then send me this statistic. Send me this statistic.
So to hop in real quick, okay, the reason I could kind of predict that, Aiden and everyone else in here, is because I went through the same thing. I came from the real world, okay, and I had the 1 foot in, 1 foot out thing. It's why the people I got along with most were Call of Duty players.
Okay,
right?
so I looked up exactly what you said. Men typically drive more miles than women and are more likely to engage in riskier driving practices, including not wearing seatbelts, driving while impaired by alcohol, and speeding. Okay, so maybe men drive more than women, but they also drive more recklessly. Did you think that this was the fucking own of the century? Yeah, men tend to engage in worse driving. Like, this doesn't make you look good at all. The reason is probably because truck drivers are disproportionately higher men. It's usually men that are truck drivers. It's probably more than anything else. But this says, yeah, men drive longer miles. It doesn't mean that they drive more. It means that they drive farther. But then also we know that most accidents happen within like proximity of your own house, right? So then like this doesn't necessarily matter. It also says men engage in more risky like practices. Driving, it's a higher amount of men will drink and drive. They'll speed. They won't wear their seatbelts. This isn't a cell phone. They're a cell phone. This is one of those things where there's so many different factors that making the grandiose statement of just men are better than women at driving is insane. It's an insane. It literally, there's a lot of factors, but I don't think it's a reasonable perspective. You might have had a personal anecdote with a bad woman driver. But again, we're talking about Andrew Tate, a rich person who engages and interacts with younger girls who really only seem to have their physical appearance for them and may not have developed other life skills. I don't really know what else to tell you. Okay? Females are more likely than males to be killed or injured in crashes of equal severity. Wow. I guess women are just physically more delicate. Although sex differences in fatality risk diminish with age. Okay. Wow. So yeah, again, some of you guys are going through a lot to try to make it seem like women are bad drivers. It's really weird. Like, you have a lot of investment. I find it interesting how much investment you guys have with identifying so much with being a guy that you need to like diminish women. It's like weird. It's a little bit bizarre. It's just fucking weird.
Because they had the same experiences as me. We partied, we went out, we had the college life, we had the club life, and we gamed, right? So I understood that lingo. I got in a lot of trouble for it, right? You look at my speeches, I got banned. People said I'm sexist, misogynistic, because I spoke in that exact way. I assumed people were intelligent enough to understand the context in which I was saying these things. But the internet is not like that. The internet applies the worst.
You're fighting ghosts. You're fighting ghosts. Nobody's saying that right now. We're not in that right now. We're talking. Like,
this is why I could predict that he is talking in the real world on the internet.
Not.
That's the issue. That's the
okay.
He's not talking in the real world. The only thing is that men feel more comfortable being sexist in the real world. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, like every single time I've been engaged in a conversation that was like inappropriate, it's usually with guys, right? Locker room talk is pretty big. Now maybe it's just because I'm not a woman and I've never had locker room talk as a woman. But like, I don't know what to tell you. Just because it's more comfortable to shit on women in private and it's funny doesn't mean that you're right. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I mean, you guys are fucking insane. You guys are terminally online and terminally rich. You're not right. The problem is that you're wrong, and you're like wrong by probably like every measurable metric, but you feel so impassioned by this that you just refuse to listen to anybody that says something different. That's it.
You know, Train, I'm gonna go against you. I'm gonna say, you know whose fault that is? That is your fucking fault. I know why? Because you are a bad communicator. If you can't communicate your thought properly, the people understand it for what it is.
Now I
then
can't.
you are lacking skill in communication
That's
to
true.
make a point what it actually is. That is your problem.
Why is XQC yelling so much? He's not wrong, but holy shit.
Real quick. I'll respond to that. Then take and go in. Okay. X, as you know now, I communicate very well. Now, when I make my speeches or when I make my points, I don't just explain the real world side. I explain the 1,700 different possible worlds it could be analyzed in, it could be perceived as, it could be perceived in. I explain it in every way possible.
Well, you still sound wrong.
I have a platform now on the internet. So now I've become a better communicator, and I explain in every context. So yeah, that's my point is right now Tate is in his, it's the inception of it, right, on the internet from the real world. So
then tell me how he is. Then tell me how it is. Say, Tate, I think you are a bad communicator of your takes, and you are bad at dialogue. It's not
a bad communicator. X, it's not a bad communicator. What it is it's an unawareness of the internet type of person. You understand? When you're never on the internet, you don't know. Like, I didn't know people like this existed. You understand? I didn't know they existed. So you can't fathom to even have the possible world to explain something in a way
Or maybe he is aware, but he just doesn't give a fuck.
Okay.
Maybe that's the case.
Trent, if you make a statement and you say women can't drive, okay, it doesn't matter what your audience is, right? It is a blanket statement.
Have you seen Nick Polem's poll? Nick Polem's poll on Funniest Streamer. Do you know why that is? Because when I'm in person, I make jokes like that. I go, must be a woman driver that caused that accident. I make jokes like that. Do I think all women? No, women are better drivers than I am. I'm a shit driver as a man.
These are joking contexts, yeah.
When you lead in a non-joking context that like women are bad drivers, like yeah, of course you think women are generally bad drivers. Like I don't know. We're going through so like yeah, that's the claim. Hey, women are bad drivers. Okay. No. I don't. Not all of them though. No, we understand not all of them. But isn't that the same as like black people are more violent? Oh, okay. Like what the fuck? Like not all of them. But it's just like you're just walking it back. It's still fucking sexist. It's still fucking racist. I don't know what to tell you.
But if you make a statement that you're
that's
serious
why I'm asking
alone.
Is he just making that generalized kind of stereotypical joke, or is he truly?
He's not joking at all. What are you talking about? That's how he feels. He keeps reinforcing that. Andrew Tate's not hiding behind a joke. Why are you trying to make it seem like he's just kidding? At this point, you're babying Andrew Tate. He should find that disrespectful because that's how you're treating him, like a fucking child.
That's what I'm asking. I asked him. He said no. He said he's not a sexist. He's making that generalized joke statement.
Okay.
What are you talking about? He's not making a generalized joke. Dude, is this Trainwrecks? Does he have a mental disorder? I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole. Andrew Tate's not joking about anything that he's saying. Who is this that's saying this? Andrew Tate's literally never said I'm joking. He's like, I don't feel comfortable in a car with a woman. That's fine. But like he's not joking. I'm so confused. It sounds like he's who is it? Is this trainer? He's fucking coping so hard. He's identifying so hard with Andrew Tate because he's projecting himself onto this guy and like trying to defend himself by proxy. It's insane.
Okay. Then when you don't have a dialogue with somebody and it's a monologue and you're alone and you go on camera and you say women can't drive it without no precision, without no saying, exception is exception, without going down the list of why it's a joke, whatever the fuck. You think it's a good thing? You think you're being a good communicator? You say women cannot drive it. And the segment.
Wrong. No, here's the part.
Does he own that?
Wait. I got to respond to this. He's talking to me. I have a responsibility. Just trust me here. I apologize for interrupting you, but just hear me out here, okay? X. Yeah, I believe. Listen. I don't think he has the experience on the internet yet to understand why he is in the wrong I think there's a dramatization, right? I think he is intelligent and is aware of what he's doing. It's a dramatization for these dumb fucks in the chat that sit there and say, fuck yeah. It's a dramatization factor. That's all it is.
Wait, so now he's saying that Tate is just performing for people? Okay. I feel like we're doing a lot. We're running a lot of like defense for Andrew Tate here. For why? Like what? Is it all a character? Because people are like, I think it's a joke. I'm sure he's joking in some context, but again, just because you're making a joke doesn't mean you don't believe these things. Andrew Tate very clearly believes women are bad drivers. He consistently reinforces it. You know, he might say in a joking capacity because he finds it funny. Okay, that's fine. He still believes it. I'm so confused.
Let's what Nick decides.
For that, I think
a statement like that, but instead replace.
For that, I think it's wrong.
Hey, Train.
I agree with you, X.
Okay. Then if you're ready to prove your own point, then right about the severity of it, how about you make a same statement for the same topic, another one about black people? Go ahead, do it right now. Do it.
But why would we do that?
I made that point earlier. About the consistency argument.
What? I'm just saying. I'm saying if it's not bad, it's a joke because it's.
I didn't say it's not bad. I said the dramatization of the.
No, you are saying it's not that bad. You're saying that everybody feels this way in the real world as well. This is something you keep pivoting. First, it was like, well, everybody feels like this in the real world, and now it's like, well, they're just jokes. But yeah, say the same thing about like a marginalized group. Say something like that. You know what I mean? Go for it. I don't know what to tell you.
Too far jokes is for the dramatization to get people in. And I said that part is wrong. And I do have a consistency. You ask Nick Poland, in front of him, I make those jokes. I make all kinds of jokes about everything and everyone. Believe that. You ask Nick Poland, he'll go live right now and say I do.
Okay, X, why don't you ask Tate if you would say that about a race or something like that? A generalization like that
Facts,
about
Rage.
a joke
Take
about
over,
a race
Rage.
or ethnicity.
Rage being an alpha right now.
Hey, listen.
Let's
Let's understand my
question.
Let him
So
talk.
I'm half black, half white, right? That's my ethnicity.
Wait,
so we
he
understand
is?
my ethnicity.
Okay.
I made a joke an hour ago with one of my cousins because half my family's black, half my cousin's white, and he said he wanted to go free diving. It's where you dive down in the water and you go deep with no scuba equipment with the sharks or some shit. And I said, bro, that's what white people do that shit. I'm too brown for that. I'm not going with the sharks. I just made a joke. There. Oh no. Cancel me. Who gives a fuck?
That's not the joke that he was talking about. So you made a joke about how first of all, you might be making a joke. You very clearly don't feel comfortable with women. You literally keep saying, in my personal life experience, women are bad drivers. You keep saying that. This isn't a joke. He truly believes women are bad drivers. That's not a comparable joke. A comparable joke isn't to say how that's a white person or a black person activity, right? Okay. What you would actually say is if you believe that women are bad drivers because in your personal experience, you've seen women drive poorly. Oh, well, I think all black people are violent because in my personal experience, I've only met violent black people. That is racist. Like, this is what we're talking about. That would be the comparison. It wasn't a directly like analogous comparison. This is just fucking insane.
When I make a statement,
I'm being gaslit,
bro. Listen, when I make a statement, maybe you do. Maybe you have all the fucking time in the world to sit on the internet, my friend. But when I make a statement, I don't have time to say, in my personal experience, I don't believe women can drive. However, I understand that some women can drive, and I'm not saying all women can't drive, and I know women who can drive. But in my personal experience, bad driving I've seen.
You can literally just say like, hey, in my personal experience, all the women I've been around with drive poorly, but I know that it's not the normal experience of the real world based on like statistical analysis. It's not that wordy. Like, again, like you're being ignorant and you want to pass your life experiences off as fact, but it's just not a fact.
He was most likely committed by women that I don't talk like a fucking geek. I say women can't drive. Now, if that upsets geeks like you, cool, whatever. Because geeks, I don't give a fuck. That's what I say. If it upsets people tough, that's my personal experience. You're gonna have to get the fuck over it. That's life. If you want to say I'm a bad communicator, once again, that's your prerogative. But I would disagree. I think I'm very good at communicating. It's the only reason I'm even fucking here. It's the only reason I'm even on the internet. It's because when I talk, people listen. So I must be doing.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, part of it. See, this is the thing. It depends on your sphere. Not for nothing. Not trying to be an asshole, you know. But the high value man sphere is like it's a fucking meme sphere. It's very easy to bully that sphere of people because they're very unintelligent. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I have no problem again with like a value system that like values being the best version of yourself, and then I have no problem with some system that says like, hey, a high value male is like is an exclusive class of people who are like very successful, make a lot of money, and blah blah blah. But it's at the expense of women making like general statements about how women are inferior. So it's not the same thing, right? We have to understand that. Okay, that's the problem with it. And they're just like so clearly sexist and dumb things to say that people are like, this is an embarrassing thing for you to be saying. So there you go.
You're doing something right.
I mean, it's easy to talk whistle to like misogynist. That's pretty easy. It's one of the easiest things out there. Preaching to the choir, that's so easy to get involved in doing that. Hey, you hate women on these points and these points. It's gonna be easy to stack them up like fucking easy. Holy shit! I have built a fucking world of a community based on being toxic. It's the easiest thing in the world. Way easier than being good and being nice.
I'm a very good, nice person.
Surely.
By saying that, I think that men are more capable of driving than women. It does not make me a bad person or a not nice.
No, it just makes you objective. Like it just makes you wrong. I don't know what to tell you. Like again, because like statistically, you're not really supported in this analysis. So like you're wrong. You're confidently wrong.
Person. That means that if I get a car and it's snowing and it's late at night and it's dark, I'm going to drive. I'm not going to let some 18-year-old chick drive. I'm going to fucking drive.
Are you 18? Dude, okay. Can we just acknowledge that I'm just like always right, okay? What did I say before? Andrew Tate hangs out with young girls. Why the fuck? Okay. And that's fine. I'm not saying he's a pedophile. I'm saying that his sphere is young, attractive women. It's just young girls. Okay, Andrew Tate. Age. Let's see. Andrew Tate is 35. Why the fuck would you compare a 35-year-old to an 18-year-old? Because that's the women he hangs out with. Of course, a fucking 18-year-old is going to be a shit driver. No kidding. Andrew, you're so fucking smart. Young people are fucking stupid. We've discussed. We've solved the fucking problem. No kidding. Young people are dumb as shit. Holy fuck. This is what I'm talking about. You see how easy this shit is to read? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know, I'm 35. Did you know 18-year-olds are dumb? Oh my god. Oh my god. I didn't know. Holy fuck. Why would you compare yourself to an 18-year-old at 35? Is that not, that's embarrassing. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Drives, I like staying alive. And let me tell you something.
Funny you bring that up because last time you talked about car accidents or whatever, and then you brought stats. You said that, well, it's because the males been doing more accidents because they're young, right? So even if your own example, right, you would actually prefer having a young female driver, not a young male, according to you. That's what you said last time on the fucking podcast. Then it is exactly what you said. I'm using your words against you.
I don't know why you wouldn't press Andrew on his comparison of himself at 35 to an 18-year-old. That would be your next, but okay.
Oh yeah, males do more crashes when you're young because they're young and excited, whatever. You just said I wouldn't let a young girl drive my car. Then you would let.
Okay, old girl.
I'm just saying, be consistent about it.
Listen, let me tell you something, my friend. there's a cognitive dissonance. There's some serious damage that the internet's doing to society. I spoke about it on Aiden Ross on his podcast. I spoke about how the internet as a whole has changed the world. I'm old enough to see it. And one of the ways it's changed the world is when there are certain beliefs, there are certain paradigms which are not allowed to be punctured, certain parameters which are set by the matrix in which you must pretend certain things are true. People ignore their own eyes and their own ears because they are afraid of upsetting the matrix. And my point is that a person like you, and I mean this with respect, I'm not here to argue with you, this is a professional debate. A person like you whose entire income, personality,
I just can't. It's a conspiracy theory. I understand that people online won't let you speak the truth sometimes. It's the truth. They'll get mad. Like when I say, based on all the data, trans women who have gone through a male puberty outperform cisgender women in sports. People are like, no, you can't say it's transphobic. I get it. There are instances of that. But we're talking about objective statistical analysis. I don't know what you want me to fucking tell you. I mean, like, we're not at that spot. We're just not at that spot. And the problem is that every single time we talk about the Matrix, we're introducing a conspiracy theory. Oh, well, you know, we're in the Matrix. Okay, maybe, but no. Where's your evidence? You're like, everything is always going to be conspiratorial.
Importance, his ego, everything relies on a Twitch account. If you lose it, you ain't shit. If you lose it, you ain't shit. And the problem is that you could be in 10 car crashes driven by 10 different women, and you will still not come here and say women can't drive as well as men because you are afraid. You are not non-biased. You are sitting here inside of parameters that you must conform to or you don't exist. I don't give a fuck. That's the difference between you and me. That's why I say things other people don't.
I don't know what I mean. The last part. I mean, you're talking about the Matrix and the systems or whatever the fuck. But
well, all you'd say is like what you're saying is you're completely incapable of actually justifying anything that you just said. Like, you're just speaking because you're wrong and you have nothing else to do except propose conspiracy theories about how we live in a fucking matrix. That's your response there. Like, it's a laughable, oh, well, you're always going to simp for women. Why? That doesn't even make sense. Like, not for nothing. What? I don't know what to tell you. I really just don't know what to tell you. There are people who absolutely virtue signal on the internet, 100%. And if this was an argument to somebody else that does that a lot, I'd be like, yeah, okay, maybe. But this is to XQC. I don't think XQC virtue signals. I really just don't. XQC was somebody who's like super edgy and sexist, and he's like changed a bit. You know, I think that's a normal experience for a lot of people. Probably as he talked to women that weren't 18. I mean, this is another problem as well. How many like? Andrew Tate's already expressed that like his sphere of women is younger girls, and that's fine. You do you. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I think it's a little weird, but it's not wrong. It's immature though. If you're not talking to intelligent women, which would usually be women your own age, you're not going to get a actual experience from that. You're staying away from that type of engagement. So like you don't really know what the fuck you're talking about.
The only reason why you're relevant or cool in the real world is because you have money. Talk about the Matrix, the fucking currency, and you think you're the top G because of that.
True.
And it makes you more important than other people who have value to society.
I'm not only the top G because I have money. In fact, I think I talked about this with Aiden Ross as well. I talked about how money is an amplifier. Money alone will not make you significant or important. I talked about how money will amplify.
Money will also like remove you from being like criticized in a lot of instances, I guess. I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say here. He's in a specific sphere of influence where he has a lot of people that are like, yeah, I love this. I love it when you talk. So usually poor loser men, I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole, who are desperate to be seen as valuable, who will signal boost this type of content because it makes them feel better about themselves by shitting on women and making it seem like it's the whole world's fault for their failures. And then you try to sell them some bullshit self-help, like escaping the matrix, instead of actually advocating for real change, which really comes outside of this. It really comes to fixing our broken system. So we're not going to get into that.
Before I was rich, I was the man before I was rich, and then I got rich on top. It's amplified me. That's all it's done. It hasn't changed who I am. There's plenty of people with lots of money who ain't shit.
Okay, so because of the vehicle of my message is Twitch, it's devalidated.
It's not that it's devalidated at all, my friend. I think that Twitch is a fantastic. And you're meeting lots and lots of people, and I'm here on Twitch as well myself. My point is that you exist inside of parameters. The people who rely on the system will always fight to defend the system. The parameters are set in a way in which you cannot be completely and utterly honest, even if your personal experience tells you so. We don't even
this entire thing is like he lives within the system as well. Like he's stuck being the high value male. He can't deviate from that, or else he loses all credibility. So like your argument that same thing happens to XQC in the sphere is effectively broken. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Your logic is fucking dog shit.
Talk about driving. We can talk about anything. We can talk about the last 3 years where you walked around, didn't see a single sick person, and you had to pretend that you were supposed to be scared inside of your house because the parameters have told you if you say anything else, you lose your entire life.
So it's hard to be charitable to this dumb fuck. Okay, listen, I'm sorry. Listen, like we said, he lives in a specific sphere of younger women, young people aren't really susceptible to these things, and probably really fit like men that are rich. Of course, rich people and people in good physical condition, they're probably not going to get COVID, right? I had an uncle who worked like 80 hours a week. He died of COVID. At my bus company, I think it was yesterday, 14 people died of COVID. COVID is fucking killing people. And the reality is that like the reason it's not as bad as it could have been is because of all the parameters that we put in place. I've had COVID. I was fucking horrible. I was having like night sweats. It was terrible. I don't really know what to tell you. And you could say, well, those people should have been healthier. You're right. I should be healthier. But guess what? It doesn't exist. People are unhealthy. So your argument's like, yeah, just let a couple of million people die on top of what actually happened. Yeah, 14 in the company. It's a pretty large company. People are we had to work during the pandemic. That's the thing. The drivers had to get up and go to work during the pandemic. I had to get up and go to work during the pandemic. We didn't get to stay at home. We had to disinfect the public transportation buses so that fucking people could get to their fucking appointments, so that they wouldn't die from like whatever, like kidney disease. Like we had to get old people and poor people. This is our job. Like we did we did paratransit and transit buses. We had to get people to be able to go where they needed to go. It could have been the hospital for dialysis. Could have been the hospital for some other reason. It could have been just to go food shopping because they don't have a fucking car, because they don't have enough money for a car. We had to keep working and people died. That's just the reality. He lives in this fucking insane sphere where like, oh, I didn't see anybody die. Yeah, because you're a fucking moron that lives a sheltered life. You have money. You don't have to worry about this. But people who were on the ground working, a ton of people died. I had an ex-coworker of mine who died because he had fucking asthma. It's insane. So this whole idea, COVID was a conspiracy. You are so far removed from reality. You live in this you live in this fucking rich sphere where you don't see problems of the world. You have a childish perspective of the world. And that's just like the reality of this situation. And I don't know what to tell you. And you might be like, well, I didn't see it either because you're a kid. I don't know what to tell you. I know a lot of people who died. I know a lot of families that were impacted. Like this shit was real and it was fucked up. And you have this dumb fuck childish perspective on it. And that's it. That's really what this boils down to. And it's very annoying when you guys like to pretend like, oh, well, it's a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy theory. COVID's not a conspiracy theory. What did you do during COVID? Oh, I stayed at home. I got paid to stay home. I had to fucking work. I know what happened. I was in the shit. All right. The first weekend of COVID, I worked like fucking 13 days straight because I had to run overtime every single day so that I could make sure I could set up the system to get these buses disinfected so that people wouldn't there's a lower chance of people dying. That's what I had to do. Like, that's what I was doing. What were you doing? I was staying at home playing video games, getting $500 a week from the federal government on top of whatever other unemployment. Okay, good for you. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's just fucking annoying. It's so annoying when people say this shit. Like, they know what the fuck they're talking about. You guys don't know anything what you're saying. The people dying is a conspiracy theory to you because you were sad that you had to stay indoors for a while. Like, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. It would have been exponentially worse if we didn't take the measurements that we did. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. Okay? Talk to a fucking healthcare worker. Have you ever talked to a fucking healthcare worker before? Oh, no. Go talk to somebody. I have a cousin who worked in healthcare. They were working every single day overtime because people couldn't work, didn't want to work because people were dying. We had a massive mask shortage. We had like a bunch of like medical supply shortage in America, in fucking the United States of America. We had shortages on PPE equipment. You know how insane that is? That's how bad this whole situation was. But we're going to sit here. It's like, yeah, well, I'm rich and got to stay home and didn't do anything. Wow. Who the fuck would have thought? Wow, what a fucking beautifully sheltered life like, I don't really know what to tell you. Like, what the fuck? Have you go to a hospital? Talk to people who worked on the front lines. Why are you so afraid of that? Why are you such a fucking coward that you can't talk to these people? Like, you're sitting here, treat me with respect, but you're being disrespectful to people who fucking died. You're being disrespectful to healthcare workers who were on the ground, like, dealing with this shit. But then you expect people to treat you with any level of respect. It's beyond me. It's insane. You want to talk about cognitive dissonance? That's fucking cognitive dissonance. It's insane. I don't know what to tell you. It's fucking nuts.
And your life is online. This is the reality. Not most people are not allowed to say what they think.
Okay, this works both ways though. It's not because you have harsher takes and crazier takes that this doesn't apply to you. I feel like you preach to the choir to fucking incels. Literally, that's like your bread and butter.
Wait, isn't that TOS chat?
So by extent, you try not to go against these opinions because you're gonna lose these people. Like that's how it is.
So that's an interesting point of view, and we'll go into it in a second. But first things first, I want to clarify because, as I said, I'm a professional, and this is a professional debate. My takes are not harsh or extreme. Every single man, every single sports club, every single football team, every single group of men sitting around having a drink will make a joke about how women can't drive. Every single fucking one. So to say
yes, that doesn't mean that it's right. I don't know what your argument is.
Pretend I have some extreme view is bullshit. It may be extreme on the internet where people are afraid.
See, like I said, he feels comfortable being sexist because sexist is generally more normalized. Okay. Yes, that is true. A lot of men will make those jokes. That doesn't mean that they're correct. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Broke internet just lagged out.
Oh my god, this is getting really good too. Hold on. I'm gonna say internet.
Yo, X, how you feeling during this halftime report? How you feeling about this conversation?
I'm okay.
He's kind of debunking you right now. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm only questioning. I haven't even started making takes and saying things. I'm just questioning.
Why didn't they pull Destiny? Oh, they're on Twitch. They can't pull Destiny in. When does Destiny talk to this guy? Honestly,
I'm not debunking X.
I'm questioning it. I'm not even making statements yet.
He's not debunking X, but there's a couple points he brings up that I feel like I do preach about PG-13 streamers and the parameters set by Twitch and the general public that make the PG-13ers say things when I know for a fact they don't.
Yo, chat, somebody said XQC is going to
lose their job or their income from the stream.
No, that was crazy.
That was crazy. You cannot prove a statement. You cannot prove a statement is being made because of the fucking loss of income or whatever the fuck. Because I would have way more proof of the exact opposite.
It doesn't apply to you, X. It doesn't apply to you. It applies to. Yeah, I preach it toward the PG-13ers, right? The ones that glue smiles on their fucking faces and act robotic and virtue signal on every fucking avenue, right? Like we know they're human beings.
Yeah, those people do exist, but that doesn't mean that. Again, doesn't mean that everybody's virtue signaling.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's those that I preach that against, right? I don't think it's right. Like I think what he's saying about that is correct. I don't think it should be applied to you though, because I know you're just like me. You speak your fucking.
So the argument is irrelevant then. The argument is completely irrelevant. You're agreeing. The argument is that XQC specifically is virtue signaling. That's Andrew Tate's fundamental argument. And you're saying, like, I don't think that's you, but, like, people do that. Yeah, no shit. Okay, cool. But that doesn't matter because if you don't think that it applies to XQC, then the argument is fucking irrelevant. He's not just pandering to an audience. Or what you could do is you could be like, I think that maybe Andrew thinks that you're virtue signaling because that's his experience. But then what I find weird, is this train wrecks? I think it is. Why are you such a coward? And then just say, hey, Andrew, XQC, in my experience, doesn't virtue signal about things. But you're, like, afraid to talk to him, which is weird. Like, what? Just say that to him. Say, like, no, Andrew, I disagree. I think there are people who do that, but you know what? XQC, I've known him for a while. He doesn't do that. But you're not doing that. You're not pushing back. That's what you believe. That's what you're saying. Why aren't you defending him then in that capacity? Why? Oh, because, like, you probably don't give a fuck about what you're saying. Because you're identifying with some of the things Andrew Tate is saying, and finally, your king makes you feel better about, like, your fucking dog shit, like, fucking sexist takes. I don't know what to tell you.
If we get banned, we get banned. We eat that fucking ban, right?
Yeah,
we keep our minds.
In that regard,
there's nothing that you guys hold back at all. There's nothing.
Fuck no. Why would I?
Do you watch my streams, Los Pollos? Do you watch them?
Dude, you know what? You know I watch your. I'm saying,
those
like,
motherfuckers hate me, bro.
You're saying that there's nothing. I'm saying there's nothing that you've ever had to hold back on.
The only thing I hold back on are the jokes that Nick Poland has said. If I could say on stream, I'd be the funniest streamer on the planet. It's my jokes. The jokes I hold.
Oh, if you can make, like, really inflammatory. Listen, if I can make really inflammatory jokes, I guess I would be too. But, like, okay, wait, what's the argument then? Wait, hold on. This argument's, like, so shit then. Like, what you're saying is that there are some jokes that are too far to make. That's fine. But it still sounds like fundamentally you get to express whatever ideology you believe in. So what you're saying doesn't even really hold up. It seems like you're able to say whatever you want, except, like, you can't go too far in, like, your edgy jokes. So then what ideology do you feel like you're being suppressed on Twitch? I'm very confused.
Back, because the jokes are the only things I hold back. But my views and my opinions, I say them straight out and I'm hated.
Now, I for sure had to hold
You
back.
have, like, a huge following. What do you mean you're hated? Well, of course there's going to be people who hate you, but you make, like, millions of dollars. And don't you gamble thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars on stream a day? What are you talking about? You're fucking hated. Okay, dude, I'm blown. My brain's gonna explode. You've maintained your platform, which was the argument, by engaging in, like, your shit, which is fine. Do your thing, get your bag. I'm just saying, like, you're acting like you're a fucking victim, but you're rich, and the only thing that you're saying, admittedly, is that you can't make some jokes that go too far. Oh, okay. Okay. Like, everybody with the fan base is gonna get hated, especially if they're, like, talking about, like, controversial topics. I don't know what to tell you. And you're a large content creator. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Some of
the reality is, when you're live, like,
hold back on jokes.
We all hold back, bro. Come on, we all do.
Only for jokes.
Yeah, like, if you're saying no, that's kind of like
No, for jokes, yes.
Jokes,
not
not
beliefs and shit.
Like, I hold back on my jokes as well. Like, you can't go too crazy. But, like, yeah, my political views are not held back. Like, I'm okay. Like, what the fuck's that, dude? This is just fucking crazy to me, brother.
Rage shit online.
I hold back inappropriate shit. Like, sometimes I want to scratch my balls and pull my cock out. I like having my balls out sometimes when I'm
exactly.
I don't want to pull my balls out on stream. So yeah, I am holding back, I guess, but not in ways that are not morally or fucking like that don't align. Like, I don't know.
My political views, my opinions on others, I don't hold back. Jokes, yes, sexist jokes, borderline racist jokes, yes, I hold those back because we live in a society. And before the chat, listen, chat, y'all got no right. Y'all got no right to sit here and say, why do you hold back on jokes?
Leave?
You are the ones that cancel all of us.
That's
so true.
That's actually true, to be honest.
Okay, so I think Andrew left. None of this matters. I want you to understand this. None of this matters. Yeah, you have to hold back on jokes. Andrew Tate isn't saying, oh, you have to hold back on jokes. Andrew was saying to XQC that he is not going to be honest about his interpretation or feelings on women because he'll get canceled, which is just not true. This entire argument is so removed from the actual like context of what's going on here. It's fucking insane. I think that might be the end of it with Andrew.
Explain the context like I
clown and you
The parameters.
Okay, it seems like he eventually comes back. I don't feel like listening to them fucking like cry to each other. We're skipping ahead.
Crazy ransom because it's a character. What is that? It's not.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean by the monkey dance? What do you mean by the monkey dance? What do you mean by that?
Hold on, Top G is back. Hold on.
Yeah,
he's back.
What's up, Top G?
Oh, that's Top G. Okay.
Something's wrong with my internet. I don't know why.
Is there bad Wi-Fi over there?
Is there bad Wi-Fi in Romania?
The internet.
It is.
Can you hear me now, though? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So where were we?
I don't remember. It was fuck again. Reiterate because we were talking when you went out there.
I believe before he lagged out, you were giving the example of how before he gave the example that the male accidents that are high are young males, and he gave an example that he wouldn't hop in a car with an 18-year-old chick, and you said that he's countering or he's being hypocritical and being contradictory to his previous statement that young men cause accidents.
Well, no, my biggest thing isn't like, okay, the young men. The thing is that he said that he would prefer to drive over an 18-year-old girl, which makes sense. The problem is that Andrew is comparing himself at 35 to a 18-year-old person who is going to always be the worst driver. Maybe sometimes they'll be better, but that is an outlier. Okay? That's the biggest issue. And I don't know why. And nobody's pushing him on that. No shit. I would rather drive than an 18-year-old. I don't know what to tell you. Okay? I'd also rather drive than my mother. You want to know? Because she's like 65 years old. You understand? Okay? It's fucking insane.
The majority of male accidents.
Georgiana?
Is that your maid?
No, it's a masseuse. Georgiana, can you bring my sunglasses, please? I don't know where they are.
Yo.
Right.
Yeah, she's like, why is he talking to me like that? He didn't talk to me like that off camera, bro. What the fuck?
So what were we talking about?
That's fact. Yeah. He definitely apologizes to her. And said,
Yo, be real. When the camera goes off, you're probably like, yo, I'm sorry, I'm speaking to you that way.
One takes care of her off camera. None of this shit.
I'll give you a good tip today. I'm sorry.
Dude, the internet lag. That's we could set this shit up for sure.
Wait, who that?
Yeah, we're down the right.
Yeah, we got it. Oh, no.
Oh my God, who is that?
Oh, no, never mind. You got no.
X, cover your eyes, bro.
Yes.
Is anything actually happening here, or?
No, he cool as shit.
It's not organized. I had the massage planned, but
okay. Interesting. I don't know what we're arguing about. I don't know. Mine depends on me acting a certain way, so I appreciate part type of shit. When I said that I genuinely think that you have your own matrix in that regard, and you do the same for your views and your things. That's how it is.
Well, I think that different people appeal to different people.
True.
That's fine.
Okay.
That wasn't the point I was making at all. The point I was making at all is that you are not allowed to have a controversial opinion. I am.
I just disagree. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's not. I think that yes, there are people who, again, virtue signal on the internet. 100%. These people exist. Definitely. That doesn't mean that everybody does. I don't know what you want me to tell you. So
that's the point I was making. The point I was making is that I do not need the internet to be rich or to be significant. So I don't give a fuck. I've been banned 1,000 times. I'll be banned 1,000 times more. It doesn't even cross my mind. My point is, respectfully, if you were to conclude through your own personal experiences, if you were to come to a conclusion which you know the parameters of the matrix see is controversial, you still wouldn't even fucking say it.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. It's a conspiracy theory. It's like you agree with me, but you can't publicly agree with me. You can't win an argument with somebody like this because they're not having an actual reasonable argument. Like, he might as well be like a fucking, like a crack addict, like a fucking drug addict or something that you're talking to on the street. No offense if you're a drug addict on the street. Not that you're watching this anyway. But it's like, that's fucking, are you on about?
Because it's all risk and no reward for you. That's why I'm saying that for you to sit here and disagree with everything I say, I understand why you're doing it. Okay. I also understand why you.
Yeah, this is patronizing. This is like patronizing. Oh, yeah, I understand why. Like, you basically, he's being patronizing. Like, you're treating like a fucking child. I'm like, bro, don't come at me with that condescending bullshit. Like, stop fucking around with me. Like, acting like this is a conspiracy theory. You have like no intelligence behind what you're saying. Like, this is literally, he's insulting XQC. That's what he's doing. He's being condescending, and he's saying that he's a disingenuous person fundamentally. The levels of disrespect that like Andrew gives off is insane, considering he like demands so much respect. But he's not a very respectful person.
For your own eyes, your own ears, and your own personal experiences, you'll ignore them completely because it doesn't benefit you to talk the truth. You will sit here and you will repeat the new thing, the new speech. You will say what you were supposed to say. That is your. We all have different.
Oh my god.
No.
Okay, he's gone again, and then he comes back.
Someone's shutting.
No, he's Andrew's saying that the Matrix, which I agree, does not want him to talk. I agree because like it's shut him down all the time.
Yo, W translator.
I'm not dick sucking, Silky. Somebody's stopping the fucking connection.
You're putting it all in there, bro. Just chill. Chill.
Agents.
Maybe we could talk about another topic, and then maybe it's gonna be less controversial and be less Matrixers somehow.
Let's go.
Do you know how like you would not, if you had said, hey guys, statistically women are bad drivers, if that was actually true, you're not going to get canceled off of Twitch. Okay, I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Well, I don't get
it. I was told that you disagree with everything I say, so I'm just here to.
Yeah, mostly. I mean, some of the motivational shit or whatever the fuck, it's like reiterated stuff that you hear on fucking billionaire self-help books or some shit, which are fine. I mean, I agree with a lot of them. I'm not gonna fucking dick ride and say that I agree with the rest of them, because that's what people do, you know? You say a lot of true shit and you slip some dog shit in the middle, and then people will take it as
I don't know what true shit he says.
Well, I don't try and slip dog shit into my views. My views are my views, and they're based on my personal experiences, and I don't try and slip dog shit in. I don't attempt to do that on purpose. I don't think it's dick riding to agree with everything someone says either. I don't think it's dick riding to agree with people.
Thank you.
The internet is, like I said, I'm new to all this space. It's weird. It's a weird place. Like if I were to come along and say I 100% agree with all of the things that X man says, people are going to insult me for that. I'm not saying I agree with every single thing about his being, but the things he says on the internet, I may agree with all of them. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, I see. I also agree with that. I also agree that this new this thing of meta of saying, "Oh, dick riding" or whatever, because you generally agree with all the takes. It just so happened to it. People say dick riding. That's fucking stupid. I also agree. Okay, but other than that though, I just feel like a lot of times, like I said, I agree with some of your good takes, right? About things that are motivational, whatever the fuck, right? Okay. Whenever you just slip in some garbage, right? It happens a lot.
It's interesting because every single time we like watch Andrew Tate talk about something, I never hear him give his like motivational takes. Isn't like like we watched him have that on that date with like Cheyenne, I think her name was, right? And it's like he didn't slip any of that in there. It was mostly just like misogynistic shit. I guess he was talking to a woman and she was pressing him on that. But okay, I mean, I'm sure he does have some like decent takes in there about self-motivation. I've just never heard them before, even out of his own mouth. But I guess I gotta pay for the Matrix plan, right? I gotta pay how much is it to be part of the club?
Hold on, X, you might have frozen.
You see it? You think you see it?
Tate, look at him. Look at him, bro. He's done,
Look at him, bro.
He's done, bro. He's having the time of his fucking life and attitude, bro.
All right, he's gone. Andrew Tate. We saw what we had to see, bro. Listen. I don't know what else to say, dude. I don't know what else to say. There is the biggest thing that you guys should be weary of in this like sphere of high value men is that everything is a conspiracy theory. That's pretty much it. That's the whole problem. That's the entire problem with this sphere, with this ideology. It isn't that you believe a thing, it's that you believe a thing, and then anytime somebody shows you objective proof, you instantly say, well, that's a conspiracy theory. And it's like, holy fuck, bro. Like, come on. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and another special shout out to all my Patreon and Twitch subs. If you'd like to support this channel further than you already have by just watching the video alone, go down to the links below where you can sub on my Patreon, which will allow you to get your name on this beautiful black wall. Or you can go to the Twitch page and you can actually use a free Amazon Prime sub, if you have Amazon Prime, to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.